Another video from UA code 127.0.0.1. Students, hope so you are good and doing well in your life. Today I come to you with my new lecture, and this is all about related to the session management and HTML injection vulnerability. I hope you heard about these vulnerabilities before that, but I assured you after this lecture definitely your knowledge will increase. Okay, before start my lecture, I would like to say you kindly subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get the notification of all my upcoming videos. Okay guys, before going to solve the lab, first of all, I would like to tell you about what is meant by session. For this purpose, if I typed here, a user is present here. If a user want to connect any application, something like that, if I consider this is a application, okay. Now guys, basically when this user is logged into this web application, definitely a session is created, and this session could be, okay, now a session is created between user and web application, and a session ID is allowed to this user. And this, if I talked about the session ID, this session ID could be URL parameter, it could be any URL parameter, it could be cookies, and it could also be any authentication token. Okay guys, now from this picture, definitely your concept is clear about the session. When any user is logged into any application, a session ID is allotted to this user, and this session ID could be in form of URL parameter, or it could be in form of cookies or authentication parameter. Now guys, basically if developer fail to develop the right parameter for this session, then attacker can take advantage of this thing, and he can hijack the session ID and gain unauthorized system access. Okay, this is the mistake here by the mistake of developer. If the developer did not develop the right parameter for the session ID, the attacker take advantage of this and he can hijack the session ID of any valid user. Okay, now students, additionally some developer also failed to set the time for this session ID, and if there is no restriction for time restriction for the this session ID and rotation plan for this session, then attacker can take also advantage of this, and he will impersonate user already logged into the system. Basically guys, if I talked about the session management vulnerabilities, in this vulnerabilities the attacker manually detect gaps in user validation and verification, and then definitely the attacker will use automated tool to retrieve further information about the valid user. Okay guys, this is all about the session, what is meant by session and session ID. Now I will move to my Kali Linux machine, and it's time to show you practical. Okay guys, I'm going to use this vulnerable web application, that is Mutility. I have already installed in this my Kali Linux. I will move, I just simply moved here, that is OWASP 2017, and here you can see broken authentication and session management portion is present here. Okay guys, basically for performing session management and broken authentication vulnerabilities, first of all, I'm going to create multiple user here. So I just simply click on registered here, and now I'm going to type here the new user detail in order to create some new user. First of all, I typed here some username, something like that. If I typed here Alex, and then password, I'm going to confirm the password. Okay, and I'm going to click on create account. One account is created here. Now students, I'm going to create some other account in the similar way. I just click on create account, and now I just type the second user detail here. Okay, I typed here second username, that is Smith12, password, and in the confirm password, I'm going to confirm the password and click on create. Second user is also created here. You can see here account created for Smith12. Okay, now I'm going to create the third one account, that is actually this one. Okay, I'm going to put the details about the third user. Okay, now I just simply remove this name from here. Okay, I typed here third username, password, and then confirm password and click on create account. Now guys, you can see I'm successfully create the 3 user account. One is John, second one is Smith, and third one is Alex. It's time to actually capture my request in Bob suite. So guys, I'm going to use the Bob suite. It's a proxy, and you can use this in order to capture your traffic. Right now, I'm going to turn on my intercept mode and move to my browser window. Here, I'm going to click on login. Okay, I'm going to click on login, and first of all, I will just log in by this user, that is Smith12. Okay, I should click on login here. I'm going to turn on my proxy first, and now I will move here and click on login. Okay, now you can see login window is present to me. I just put here the username, any username that I created previously. Right now I put here Smith name and password of Smith, and now I should turn on the proxy. I'm going to turn on my proxy and click on login. Okay guys, you can see my request is captured here, but in this request I did not get any user ID. I just get here the username and password. If I forward my request, now guys, you can see I get the user ID, that is 24. It's time to send this request into repeater. I just right click and send my request to the repeater. Okay, I'm going to turn off intercept, move to the repeater, and now if I send my request, this is the request window, and you can see the response of this request is present to me, that is okay. Okay, now guys, basically if I change here the user ID, that is allowed to the Smith, it's 24. Now if I change user ID from 24 to the 25 and click on send button, and my response is okay. It's mean no error is occurred here. No proper session management session management is implement here. I'm just right clicked here and request in browser. Just I'm going to just right click and request in browser in original session, copy request, move to my browser window, and now if I type this URL here and press enter, let's see what's happened. And now students, you can see when I type when I paste this URL here. Okay, let me check proxy is either on or off. Okay, it's off, and it will take some time. Now you can see guys, when I browse this URL, here you can see I'm successfully logged into the other username, that is John. Now guys, if I move to my proxy and move to the repeater, and now if I change here user ID from 25 to the 26 and send my request, response is okay, no error is occurred here. I'm going to right click here and request in browser, copy my request URL, move to my browser window and try to browse this URL. Let's see third user is logged successfully or not. And here you can see now I'm logged by the user, that is Alex. This is the way how you can actually check the session management vulnerability is present in application or not. So this is the application that is actually totally vulnerable to the session management. No proper session is maintained by the developer of this application. By take the advantage of this thing, the attacker can perform the session broken authentication or session management attack on this vulnerable web application. So guys, this is all about to the session management vulnerability. Now let's move to the second vulnerability, that is related to the HTML injection. For this purpose guys, I'm just move to the logout from here, and now I just move to the OWASP top OWASP 2017, and here you can see. Okay, I have facing some internet problem. Right now I'm going to just injection, and here you can see HTML injection portion is present here. When I click on this, and I again click on this, it's not activated successfully, HTML injection, and now I will click on add your blog. Okay, students, now here you can see HTML form is present here. Now if I typed here any HTML tag, I typed here h1, and if I typed here this is HTML, this is HTML injection, and now I will just close the tag. As you know, HTML tags have open and close tags option. Now guys, I typed here this HTML code here. Meanwhile, I'm also going to turn on my proxy in order to capture my request. And now when I click on save blog entry, you can see my request is captured here. Right now I'm going to just send to the repeater and turn off the proxy, move to my repeater and send my request. Okay guys, here you can see the response of this request is okay, no error is occurred here. Now guys, if you see here, the HTML code is present here, and I just right click here and I am going to just convert into the normal text by clicking convert selection URL and URL decode. You can see the HTML code is present here. Now actually it's time to inject some malicious code between HTML tags. Now if I type here some JavaScript code, that is script, and then I'm just typed here alert, and then inverted HTML. If I type here HTML injection and inverted commas close, and then I should close the script. So guys, here you can see I put some malicious JavaScript code between the HTML tag. Now if I fire my request and see the response is okay, no error is occurred here. I just browse this request by copy the request URL, move to my browser window. Okay, move to my browser window. Now if I paste the URL here and hit enter, and here you can see, okay, I think it's not successfully executed. Let me check. I'm again move to the repeater, and okay, let me check what the issue is exactly. Okay, here the some spelling mistake. It's a script. I typed here script, again fire my request, and I'm going to again copy the URL from here and move to my browser window. Again try to browse this URL in order to check either this HTML page is vulnerable to the accesses or not. Here you can see a cross-site scripting pop-up menu is present here. It's mean this HTML page is vulnerable to the cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. No proper input sanitization, HTML input sanitization is implemented here. So guys, this is all about the session management and HTML injection vulnerability, and I performed this on this vulnerable web application, that is Mutility. I hope guys you will do practice about it. I will definitely come to you with my new lecture that is actually related, that is actually related to the some other vulnerabilities. So keep touch with me with my channel and kindly subscribe. So I will come to you with my new lecture. Till that, Allah Hafiz and take care.